Hey, welcome to Car and Mechanical, and I'm just pulling out some motorway services after picking up some RX7 parts. So today's video is going to be a little bit of an update, tell you what's going on with the channel, the loose plans for the RX7. I've got a more detailed video to come on that. Okay guys, just a quick update for you. I'm on the way back from High Wycombe at the moment. It's 27 degrees outside and most of the journey down was about 28 to 29 with no aircon. So if I do look a bit hot and flustered, it's because I am. So I'm on my way back to Leicester at the moment, and in the back I'm carrying a door for the RX7, a bucket full of bits, and a couple of side lights. So the videos on the channel haven't been as frequent as I would have liked recently, and the DIY videos especially have been lacking. That's about to change. In fact, I've probably done more work in the past 6 months than I've done over the last couple of years of everything I've done on the channel. I just haven't put any of it out because if I wanted to get the Honda done and MOT'd before I could show the videos to everyone to sort of back up the fact that the work has been done and it's been successful. So what have I been doing? So the Jazz has had the gearbox replaced. It's now also had some other bits and pieces done, so it's going to have struts done within the next couple of days for the front. It's had a full service, so it's had the oil changed, it's had filters changed, and it's had the spark plugs changed. The last thing that's needed for the Jazz is to get the exhaust sorted, which I think is throwing a lean code, because I've got an engine management light on. So either replace the exhaust or patch the exhaust that's on there, get the Jazz in for an MOT, and then my wife can use it. And then I can actually concentrate on the small things like that, like fixing the paintwork, putting a new stereo in it, replacing the seat covers, getting a proper gear knob on it that doesn't have two reverses on there, getting a better gear gator on there, and just sort of smoothing it out and making it a nicer car all round. And the Jazz has been kind of an interesting project because it's been a lot more challenging than I would have thought it would have been. I've had more issues getting parts off of the Jazz and getting parts back onto the Jazz than I have any other car that I've ever worked on. Maybe because I've gone deeper into this in one hit than any other car I've worked on. But the biggest example is my Audi A3 when I replaced the engine. That was almost done over a couple of weekends. Some bits with the Jazz have been such a pain. I've been through 5 drive shafts just trying to get the right one, and I'll explain that down the line. But it comes down to 2 or 3 being bad, 1 not showing up, and 1 showing up badly. So I've also done quite a bit of work to the Audi, and there's more work to be done on it. So back in March, this failed the MOT on the rear anti-roll bar link. Now that's been sorted. I thought it was going to need a new anti-roll bar link. In fact, what happened was it wasn't clamped tight enough because the anti-roll bars had a bit of play in it. So the hole that should be that tight is about that tight, so we've had to clamp it extra tight. What I might have to do is replace the RS4 anti-roll bar, which would be expensive, or potentially weld in a piece of metal and re-cut a hole or re-drill a hole that's the right fitting for an anti-roll bar link. At the moment, everything seems fine though. The other thing that's been done on the Audi is I'm starting to work on the interior. To be honest, it's taken me too long because I've had some of it sitting on my desk as part that I'm not in the car, but I'm doing brushed aluminium for the trims. So these bits here, I've got a couple of them that I've brushed. I just need to re-brush them again because it's been left a while. I need to clear coat them and then I can put them back in the car. I've had to 3D print something from one of them because when I took it out, it wasn't very good. It never had been for the gear sticks around. I've done some engine covers for the car as well, so I only had 1 engine cover that wasn't in great condition, and it's now got 3 engine covers. So what I did is I bought them, I've re-plastic dipped them, and I've soundproofed them as well, which has made things a bit nicer inside. There's less of an audible ticking noise. And one of the other things it failed the MOT on was some play that it had on the passenger side at the front, and it was potentially a low control arm, but also the track rod end. Now, ended up replacing that, and I bought a full kit for it. So the complete passenger side front lower control arm assembly has been swapped over. That includes the anti-roll bar links and everything. The thing that I need to do is the upper control arms, and I bought the full kit for £300. It's a very Bilstein kit, and I need to do the driver's side as well. So I did that side and I filmed part of it, but I need to finish the rest, and then when that's on, I'm going to put that out. I've probably got in the region of 20 to 30 videos that are going to come out over the next couple of months, and a good chunk of those are already fully filmed, and then a few have just got a couple bits and pieces left to do. So alongside the other bits that I got, I forgot about this with the RX7, or I forgot to update you guys on it. I've got new parts for the Audi. So I've got race 683 nozzles on AFB bodies. There is pins missing on The pins aren't missing, but the connector is missing, so that needs to be sorted, and those injectors need to be balanced. They're potentially popping at 200 to 220 bar. Ideally, I'd like them more at 260 bar. I think I'm going to be looking at putting these in later this year. I've got a new turbo for the car as well. I've got a 2260 GTB. I think it's a VKLR or a VKR. That's a 300 horsepower capable turbo, and I've got some 4-bar maps. Now, I ended up getting a really good deal on those off someone, so if he is watching, thank you very much, you know who you are, and I'm looking forward to putting them on the car. I've also got the maps so that can be flashed on. The thing that's holding me back at the moment, and this is kind of why I mentioned that I need to balance the RX7 project with other things, I need a new clutch to put it in the car. I think when I'm making 300 horsepower, if I go that high, I'll be making about 400 foot-pound, if not more, of torque. And I think as soon as I start going over 250 horsepower, the current clutch is going to be done. So there's no point putting these things in. And I need to check it, because if I can get these nozzles in and keep everything at 250 and keep the clutch where it should be, I'll go with that option. But if I put a new clutch in, I'm looking at £700 just to get the right clutch. Then I've got to get the gearbox off and to replace it. Now, that probably would be a DIY job, but it's not a quick and easy DIY job. Probably easier than the Honda. That was a pain in the arse. But the gearbox for this, I think you have to come underneath, so you have to take the exhaust off, you take the centre drive shaft off, the prop off, you have to start dropping the gearbox, and then you have to disconnect the slave cylinder and take the starter motor out, and then as you drop down you slowly disconnect. I think you might have to rotate the flywheel to disconnect things off of that. I'm not sure if I'm talking nonsense there or not, but yeah, I know it's a weekend job basically, so when that comes along I need to find the money for that, as well as move the other projects along, as well as once they're done, then putting everything on here, and there's probably some fine tuning to do with the tunes. I think it's quite a smoky tune, and I'd rather make 280 clean horsepower than 300 dirty horsepower. And then whilst I build up to doing this, there's actually a few things I need to do. I want to delete the clutch fan on here, so I want to go to an electric fan. Potentially I want to do a CCD bypass for the oil, so I'm not blowing anything back into the intake. Oh, and I've got the budget nitrous kit, which I need to sort out. Now I've got the eBay series, which I'm going to keep up. I personally enjoy that one. It doesn't see as many views as some of the how-to videos and everything, but if you are watching them and you are enjoying them, great. I'd really like your input on those. I'm changing the format a bit from this week, so that's going to come out in the next couple of days. Unfortunately, I've been a bit busy with sorting out some of the actual car stuff rather than being able to film the videos. And then there's the RX7. So I've done nothing with the shell in a couple of weeks that I've had it, but I have sourced some parts. So I've got a door in the back here. I'm going to show you some video of that. The seller actually also had a few bits and pieces that he quite nicely gave me, just sort of a little mini bucket of bits, and it all helps. And I bought a couple of side lights as well. So one of them needs a repair. I can sort that with a 3D printer, and that can go into the bumper as and when I get one. If I go up north this weekend, I'm going to a Doncaster Classic Car Show, and just a little bit over from there I've managed to pick up a couple of windows. So I've managed to source the 2 door windows. I got those for £25. The door in the back there was £20 and the lights were £40. So my basic budget start with the RX7, it's going to be about £100 a month. I honestly wish I could pour more into it, but we're working on the Honda, we're doing bits to the Audi, and actually wanting to get back onto the Porsche. I can't be spending too much on the RX7, and that one is a project I've taken on over time. So the initial plan with that is to make it a rolling shell, to get it weatherproof so I can get it back outside, which frees up my garage and just gives me more workspace. And then that kind of loops me back around to the Porsche. So the current plan for things is I want the Honda sorted really quickly. I want my wife to be able to use that, and I just want to get it finished and done. I want to start working on the Porsche. That's a bigger job than I ever thought when I first bought the car, because we need to fully redo the wiring. That's probably going to take a couple of weekends, getting the help of a friend who's probably going to watch this video and knows that I'm going to own pizza and beer for that, and then dealing with all of the paintwork on the Porsche and starting to go through all the little bits and pieces. Like I've got an exhaust hanger bought because the exhaust is currently held up with zip ties. Yeah, so the exhaust is currently held up with like a coat hanger or zip ties or something, so I need to get that on a proper hanger, and just slowly going through the Porsche and getting that recommissioned. And of course I mentioned a while back at the beginning of the year that there was stuff I wanted to do that I think would help everyone, so I'm not going to hide what that is, but I am going to get them out there sooner rather than later. And it's Arduino stuff. It'll probably come in more handy on the RX7. But a long time ago I made the Arduino boost gauge, and the plans are out there online. Anyone can make these, but what I found was that the plans were kind of decentralized, so you'd have to go here to get a bit of code, here to get your wiring, and then here to find out other bits. And the code was no good as well because of it was reading atmospheric plus boost, which meant it was reading sort of like 30 psi, so I had to adjust the code to make it right. What I basically want to do, I want to put out some Arduino gauges so that just take people through how you make them, how you use them, and that's going to be from things to boost gauges, maybe RPM, oil temperature, oil pressure, air intake, EMP. There's various different things, and it depends what I end up using, but the basic principle of Arduino is you hook up the wires to a screen, you get an input, you put that into wherever it would be, and you can have it all on the same screen. So potentially you could have an Arduino giving you sort of 4 different input displays if you've got a couple of inches to sort of hide a screen, and it means that you're not having to clog up your door. So if you don't want gauge pods that are really obvious that you've done things to your car, something like this you can hide on the dashboard. And part of this video, I just want to say thank you to everyone that subscribed to the channel. We're over 5,000 subscribers now. Back when I started, I had no idea I would kind of get to this point. For a long time, 5,000 was my goal because it meant I'd get access to the YouTube Creator Studios, and that's actually now at sort of 10,000, so that's kind of the next point I'd like to get to. But back when I started things, I made a video on Mr. Muscle Turbo Clean because I bought a £500 to £600 Audi A3 TDI that just wasn't making boost how it should be, and it would kind of build, and then go, and it's because the vanes were sticky, or they weren't opening up properly. And the feedback I've had off of that video since has been amazing. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's over a couple of 100,000 views, and I really like it every time I see that video where someone comments on it and it says, "Thanks, you saved my car. I was going to scrap it, or I was going to buy a new turbo," or something like that. And I just love the fact that there's a shared wealth of knowledge out there online that sometimes just needs to be put in the right place for people to know what to do with. And there's Mr. Muscle Turbo Cleaner. You can buy oven cleaner for £3. You can spray that into your turbo as such, and it can clean all the soot off your turbo, and you give your car a lease of new life. And that's kind of the reason I like making videos. I like sharing with people that there are different ways to do things. Some things I do are now heading more towards a bit more of an investment area, but that's because my career's progressed. Back at the time I just started working as a developer in a new area of my career, and as that's progressed, luckily so has my available income a little bit. But I still kind of take the same ethos to things because of, let's say at the moment I've got a couple cars and I spend a couple £100 a month on doing various bits to them. If I was to spend that on one car, I'd probably end up with something like a Ford Fiesta ST, or I don't know, like a regular car. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, but I just prefer cars that have a little bit of personality for me. And what that lets me mean is that I fully own this Audi that I've got now. Unfortunately, the A3 got written off, as you can see in an older video. I've got the Porsche as a project car that I want to work on. I've got the RX7 as a much longer term car, and I've got the Honda that I'm doing up for my wife. And I just like that flexibility of doing it myself. Means I can sort of dig into these different cars. And if I share the videos and they help other people along the way, then that's kind of great. I think another one I did, which was when my friend did his Peugeot 206 wheel bearing, that's helped no end of people. And Initial Days videos are really good. So this is before he started his channel properly, or started getting his channel going. I'm going to link to Initial Days channel, check it out. He's got an absolutely fantastic project on a Daihatsu Cuore, and I'll put the link to the playlist in here. But I just wanted to loop around, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy what I've potentially got coming up and you aren't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And it'll be interesting to, so I think we're 4 or 5 years to this point. It'll be really interesting to see where we get to in the next 4 or 5 years. So that's it. That's just a probably longer update than I expected, but just to let you know what things are going on with the channel. There are going to be more videos coming out. Yes, I am now up to 4 cars. I never really expected to be past more than 2. And one technically is my wife, so I'm at 3 or 2.5 if you look at the RX7 that way. And I also have a couple other bits and pieces. I went to Japan a couple months ago, so I'm going to be putting out some videos from things that you can do in Tokyo if you're there. There's actually, if you're a car person, Japan and Tokyo especially has so much that you can go to do. If you went to London, you'd be pushed to go and find sort of particular car things. In Tokyo, it's all over, so I'm going to be putting that out hopefully in the next few weeks as well. Okay guys, that's it for this update. Thank you very much for watching. If you would like to see the videos that are coming out on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you like the videos on the channel and you think your friends would enjoy them, please remember to share them. If you have any comments or feedback, please leave them in the comment section down below. And more than anything, thank you for watching.